And of course, I mean, we are not perfect. We also, have situations, and who knows in life what may happen. And however, I know how I am also with myself. I can tell you, like a few years ago, I was like crushed by the bad feedback from an investor who did not believe in the hub.io when, my version of the hub that I wanted to build, which, 2 years later, the hub is thriving and still alive today and helping millions of people find jobs. So he told me like, yeah, we don't need that. Yeah, we don't need you. Like he added, we don't need you. Like, was that necessary? this. And I remember I like cried. I cried. And I can tell you two things. I cried and then I cried. And I was like, okay, now done. Get your shit together, girl. Okay.
And that's the important bit. And I don't,
Yeah.
and not everyone can do that.
Yeah, you have to, you can acknowledge the pain, and we cannot be like,
Yeah.
I refuse to be emotionless, okay?
Yeah.
I'm a human being, and we're all very, we have a lot of diversity within ourselves, and we can embrace them, not suppress it. So you can feel it, acknowledge it, and then actually it will minimize it. You gave it space. You're like, okay, you had a good cry now. Hello, girl. Move on. Next. You're not going to stop. Come on. What's that? Life is long. It's not one moron who's going to tell you to stop and you're going to listen to them. Okay. Prove them wrong. You need to have this warrior attitude in you. And then I called my mom and I was like, mom, they said this and they said that. She's like, Raya. Okay, so what I didn't tell you is that my mom is actually she was a teacher in philosophy, and she's a writer activist. So she's quite well known in North Africa and Middle East. And she's a warrior, a true warrior. She goes to war zones and to support the troops. And so I called her and I said, yeah, this guy, he said this, and it's really not like, uplifting. I do so much for the community. I've been hosting all this free networking. And she's like, Raya, I'm really surprised that it's only now that you're meeting somebody who's like, like tries to push you down. I'm like, she just reflected and she was like, I'm really surprised. I thought you would have met many like this. So
yeah, the world is full of negative people. How have you not encountered them yet?
Like, come on, like, that woman gets death threats. So me compared to,
right.
to her, I was like, you know what? Yeah, like. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Well, and I suppose that's the other part of the equation too. Is as well as like the world owes you nothing. The world can be an incredibly cruel place, and that's something that I think a lot of people are, especially in this day and age, are entirely ignorant to. Like really ignorant to the point where that's why some of the stuff that's happened over the last couple of years in the world, people just can't accept it. And just can't accept the reality of it. It's like, no, the world is actually, it has some really great stuff going, and wonderful people, but it also has, there's some unbelievable cruelty, and you will be exposed to that cruelty. And if your automatic reaction is just to go, oh no, poor me, it's like, you're not going to get very far.
Get the helmet, please. Get the helmet.
Exactly.
Get ready for the ride.
Yeah. And there's also something really, really weird I've noticed as well about sort of the threshold people have for, because even though I've met some people that I would consider to be quite resilient, they also get to a point, which is kind of understandable, but they get to a point where if bad things happen consecutively in a row, they kind of go, well, this bad thing happened, then this bad thing, and then this, it just doesn't seem fair, right? So, well,
fair. Yeah.
What do you mean fair? What, because these bad things happened in a row and you don't feel like you're given a break? Like, no one's orchestrating this. It's just sometimes a lot of bad things happen in a row. Like, just, you know what I mean? And that, I find that really interesting. Like, we're trying to see a pattern because as humans, that's what we do, right? And we start seeing a pattern, then we start feeling like it's intentional from the universe that they keep throwing stuff. It's like, well, actually, no, I think what's happening is you're fixating on it so much, you're completely missing all of the good stuff that's happening to you and all of the fortune that you have and all of the opportunity that's right there, but you're just fixated on this bad luck event, this bad luck event, this bad luck event. It's like, you're still alive.
Yeah, you still have food and a roof.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, calm down, but it's difficult, because you don't want to minimize people's feelings either. So it's
in when it happens to me, when I feel like, okay, something is not going my way, what helps me is that I just remember that I've been there before. So you have highs, you have lows. And I know that when I reach this point, I'm going to go back. So I try to appreciate even that and understand that this is part of it. And also, it's also important to surround yourself with other and successful founders, okay? not
Mm.
like aspiring founders or beginners. It's good to be around them, to get that energy, but get on your board or as mentors or advisors, others that have been there.
Mm.
Yesterday, I was talking to a guy who started 40 companies, okay,
Wow.
in his life. And I think he mentioned he had like 7 bankruptcies. But he's 60 plus. He's a true serial entrepreneur and successful one. So, and he told me, Raya, I didn't even ask for that comment or that story. He said, building a company is like being in the middle of a tornado. It's chaos. It's chaos all around you. But what you need to do is like go to the center and just watch things happening.
Mm.
It's gonna go away. This is just part of it. And I have talked to many. I love especially learning from older people way experienced than me. Usually my mentors are like 50 plus, 60 plus year old white male. And I always appreciate their honesty. And all of them, no one will tell you the ride is easy. They will tell you you have to actually enjoy the ride, the chaos, and you have to learn to adapt to chaos. So when things are not going well, this is normal. Just say it's good, like we said earlier, no? Oh, you have a problem. Good. How can you fix it? Well, it's not going your way. Good. How can you fix it? What can you do?
Right.
Good. This
It's
is an
almost
opportunity
it's
to
almost
optimize it.
unhealthy or unhelpful to assign good or bad to any given situation. It's just the situation
Or it's
in
good.
some
Or
ways,
it's a good
or
thing.
you just look at it
It
both
could
as
be a
good.
good thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just in some
Could
ways
be.
trying to look at it fairly neutrally. Either way, it's like this is
Mhm.
just what it is. Like this is what you signed up for.
Yeah,
So there
that's
you go.
stoicism. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's
my co-founder is an older gentleman. He's actually retired technically, but not for long because once we raise, we're going to go back into it. And that's really useful. His insights. I mean, I just love working with him. We're a
exactly.
great team because of he has the experience of having run businesses before and worked with large companies and all this sort of stuff and done well for himself. And that's really his experience and his insights are just so
Valid.
valuable to our dynamic. I bring the young, naive, well, semi-young, middle-aged, sort of naive kind of energy to the thing, and he comes in and he's like, "Great, calm down." So it's good. It's a nice balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I remember from two of my mentors actually, and advisors. They both told me separately, like, Raya, you're trying to build in 3 years what it took us 15 years to build. Okay? Slow down. Slow down.
Did you take their advice?
I think I'm trying. I try. Instead of just doing more, focusing on the high impact activities.
Hmm.
What is the activity that will bring you, 10x return instead of like just shooting in all directions?
Yeah,
This is also
yeah.
something I teach the founders I work with.
Hmm.
So it's important to slow down. I coach right now a founder from a super successful AI company. And actually, himself, he said, Raya, I'm not doing a marathon. I'm not doing a sprint. I'm doing a walk. I'm walking
Right.
step by step, one step at a time. It is slow, but each time he does an activity, because I mean, their target audience is a highly profitable one. So it's not about like gaining users. It's like, no, no, no. I go to that law firm. I know they have money. They need my technology. Done. And I talk one on one,
Right.
or I bring them in meetings where I have 25 company representative in the room
Hmm.
and I present.
So it's slow and steady wins the race. It's strategic.
Yes,
It's long pipeline, I assume. Do
yes.
all that? Yeah,
And long-term vision.
yeah. It's interesting though what you say about slowing down and doing too much.